What's up, y'all? It's Coach Dre, and today we're gonna go over 5 things that you can do to improve as a fighter. But first, before we go over those 5 things, I do want to address a question that I get a lot, which is how long does it take to become a good fighter? Now, this question really depends on a lot of things, and it's not just your work ethic or if you've been doing this for a long time. I know plenty of guys who may have started like within a year that's beating people that's been doing it their whole life. So you got to think about it. It's something a little bit more than just your work ethic. So when you add that to the equation, you got to realize that it's a little bit more than just working hard. Your genetics play a lot into it. Some people are just straight up naturals or just super athletic. And from my experience, a lot of people that are super athletic tend to pick it up way faster. I had one guy in particular who came to the gym and had like great form and hit super hard and was beating people. I actually had him spar on the first day and he was beating people. And in his defense, he did get into a lot of street fights, so I guess that kind of counts. But still, I've had people get into tons of street fights and come into the gym and their form look trash, and then they perform trash. But yeah, I don't mean to discourage anybody. I just want to let y'all know there's a lot that goes into the equation of how long it takes to become a good fighter. With that being said, let's go over 5 things that will help you get to the point of becoming a good fighter. Number 1, shadow box. Shadowboxing is so important to the sport of boxing. For one, it helps you just practice your basics or practice any type of move that you want to get better at. And it's really great with helping increase your fluidity. I have a lot of people that come into the gym and sometimes they just go like, yeah, crap, huh. And I'm like, go faster. And they go, You feel me? And I tell them, go home, look in the mirror, slowly flow, alright? Just slow flow and slowly pick up that speed and eventually their fluidity come in. But it takes time though. When you shadow box, you should also envision that there's somebody else in front of you, as if you're sparring or in an actual fight. All right. Try to avoid just throwing punches, just to throw them. Like, have a plan when you go into shadow boxing. Number 2, watch film. Success leaves clues, so it's super important to watch a lot of professional boxers who have had success and try to emulate their style. However, if you're a super beginner, I would take whatever you see with a grain of salt. Like, if you only been boxing for a month, I probably wouldn't try to rope-a-dope after seeing Ali do it. It might not end well for you. But yeah, it's super important to watch film, but starting off, you might not really understand what you're seeing when you're watching it. So, luckily, there's a lot of breakdown videos that you can find on the internet and on YouTube that may help put into perspective exactly what you're seeing. I even have a couple analysis videos that I'm gonna plug right above me. Number 3, drill. Drilling is so important. And when it came to wrestling, because I used to wrestle in college and all we did was drill, like so much. And I honestly don't see enough of it in boxing gyms. And I'm saying, if it helped in wrestling, how wouldn't it help in boxing? That's always been my philosophy, and that's what I have my students do all the time. It's important to take a move that you want to learn and get better at and drill it until you cannot get it wrong. Like, sometimes when I'm trying to teach students how to do something, I might try to show them what they just did, but I can't hit because I don't practice the right way so many times that I really can't even do what they just did. That's why I just videotape them now. During the pandemic, me and one of my boys bought this course and we just drilled these moves over and over and over again. One move I swear I drilled like 1,000 times, and I finally got to hit it in one of my fights, and it was just easy. It was literally like when somebody sneezes, you say bless you. It was automatic. But yeah, drilling is super important, but if you don't always have a partner with you, then there are drills that you can do while shadowboxing or on a heavy bag. And I'll also be posting some heavy bag and shadowboxing drills later on. Number 4, sparring. Sparring is probably the most important thing, honestly, to an extent at least. When you're first starting out, the first 3 things I mentioned are really the most important things. Is you should be putting the most focus to those things. And then after a while, after a few months, then a mix of all 4. But just keep in mind, a lot of the guys that you see with all that CTE and stuttering every time they talk or can barely even remember where they are, they don't always get like that from fights. They usually get like that from years of sparring hard in the gym. So make sure you choose your sparring partners wisely and develop a style that's all about hitting and not getting hit back. Number 5, strength and conditioning. Strength and conditioning is last on my list because I really only think that you should be doing it when you don't have access to your boxing coach or any training partners. Say you had like a 3-hour practice, right? You got your coaches, you got training partners. I would spend most of that 3 hours shadowboxing, drilling, sparring, mid-work with coach if possible, shadowboxing again, and then maybe a run. And then if you got time after that, then some strength and conditioning. But honestly, utilize your partners and your coach when you have access to them. Because I know there will be days when you don't. And that's the time where it makes more sense to do strength and conditioning. Before my first MMA fight, I broke my foot 5 weeks out. Luckily, it was just a hairline fracture, so it wasn't shattered, but still, I couldn't walk for 2 weeks. And it's funny too, because I tried to hide it from my dad, because I dropped out of school, told him I was going to be a fighter, this and that. And then my foot broke, and it was going to look bad, so I tried to avoid him when we was in the house, until one day he saw me like crawling through the kitchen. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I broke my foot." But yeah, after about 2.5 weeks, I was able to like wrap it up and then stand on it, do a little bit of jits, as long as my foot didn't get like smacked. And honestly, I really wanted to call the fight off, but I didn't want my coach to think I was a pussy, so I said I'll still do it. And honestly, that last week and a half leading up to my fight, I spent all that time sparring, even like a couple days before my fight, just sparring, because I needed to get in shape somehow, and I couldn't run, so I literally just sparred, did jujitsu. And for a 3-minute, 3-round fight, I promise you, I barely got tired. I was actually surprised, because there was fights where I trained hard for and got like gassed. But anyway, just to review, I want y'all to focus on shadow boxing, watching film, drilling, sparring, and then after you do all of that, and if you're by yourself, do strength and conditioning. All right, telling you, all the other stuff matters way more. But again, that's not to say don't do it. Alright y'all, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so y'all can see more boxing tips and boxing breakdown videos and become a better fighter overall. So, alright y'all, till next time.